It's Caleb Lindsay again. Today's date is September 13th, 2025, and this is going to be my week 7 submission for FTE 211. Before we get started at all, I'm going to go ahead and clear this thing. I've done a lot of work to it in the last couple of weeks, but we'll go ahead and remove the magazine. No ammunition there. Go ahead, lock the slide to the rear, and then I'm going to visually and physically inspect, make sure there's no ammunition there. There's not. Okay, so part 1 actually has like 5 sub parts, I guess. So this is like answer all 5 of those. Okay, so trigger work is kind of complex, or it can be at least, and there are a bunch of legal ramifications that we as gunsmiths have to kind of keep in mind when we're doing trigger work. Okay, so one reason that you could be doing trigger work is if like the fire control group just isn't working at all. So you might end up doing some trigger work in that. Or maybe if you're dealing with the 1911 right out of the box, and they might advertise their trigger pull weight between 4 and 6 pounds, and you're over that. Okay, 6 pounds is about as far as I would go. Past that, it's just a little too heavy. Okay. We also kind of have to think about what the firearm is going to be used for. Okay, in regard to that trigger pull weight. Like if you're going to be using this as like a home defense weapon, you don't want like a 2-pound trigger weight, right? It's not as safe. Well, like I said, most are going to be between 4 and 6 pounds. It's kind of where you want it. Very comfortable to me was like 3.5 pounds, which is kind of where I've got this thing set now. Then the second question, to cover that one, I guess bad trigger work would just be making the firearm unsafe. So like if you're using this as like a home defense weapon or an everyday carry kind of weapon, I would not bring the trigger pull weight all the way down to like 2 pounds. So what a lot of people, including myself, what we're doing is getting like aftermarket triggers, sears, disconnectors, hammers, all of it from aftermarket companies like Wilson Combat. Okay? For the third question, I've already got this thing disassembled. Everything's out of there, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about sear to hammer fitment. So what I've got here is kind of like a mock-up, just using punches. Okay, I've got these things kind of set up against the frame of the firearm just to kind of show where all this stuff should be sitting. Okay, so I've got my hammer and my sear right here, and we're looking for like positive engagements on all 3 of our notches. Okay, so right there is going to be our full cock right there. Okay, we're looking for positive and neutral engagement. We don't want negative. Negative is not going to be safe. Okay, so this is one way you could do it. I know that there are a couple people online that I've seen use like a little piece of paper on the back side so you can actually see it a little bit better. This is what I've been doing, and these are both aftermarket Wilson Combat parts. This is the Wilson Combat bulletproof sear and hammer. They're actually cut to match up almost perfectly, if you can see it. There's no negative contact there. So yeah. The fourth like sub question, I guess, on part 1 was discuss specific components, angle surfaces, tensions, and dimensions that can be altered to improve the trigger feel and safety. Okay, so there's a lot you can do to improve trigger feel. Okay, so stuff like what I've done is going and getting an aftermarket trigger compared to the original trigger. This is way better. I polished the trigger bow, okay, and we're going to use this trigger track stone instead of our trigger track there to deburr it and smooth it out. That's going to help make that the smooth feeling a lot better. And then in regard to like tensions, right? So we've got our sear spring here. This is the OEM TSOS sear spring, but if I'm using if I want to decrease like my pull weight to right, this middle leg off of it, I would go ahead and pull it back just a little bit, just a tiny bit. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, when I started, it was basically flush with the third leg here. Go ahead, pull it back just a little bit, and that's going to reduce trigger pull weight, which is it's going to affect both pull and feel. There's a ton of things you can do to make the feel of your trigger better, and that's just a couple of them. And then that fifth little question was basically just asking us to explain like tools and jigs that people can use to do trigger work. And especially, so one thing that I really want to bring up for this one is this guy right here, just the sear. Okay, this thing is incredibly important, and if you mess it up, it can be incredibly unsafe. So any work done to this angle right here on the end, which is what's making contact with your hammer, needs to be done with a proper sear jig. Okay, there are a ton of tools out there to help make modifications safe for these firearms. It's kind of one of the perks of a gun being around for over 100 years is the tools and the jigs that you can find online are plenty. There's a ton of them. Okay. All right, and then next, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and deburr my trigger track using the Trigger Track Stone, and then I'll try to get the finished product in here in just a second. So it took me just a little bit. But I went ahead and used this track stone, or the Trigger Track Stone, and deburred the trigger track and smoothed it out a little bit. So after I polished the trigger bow on this thing, it was already pretty dang smooth, and now it just glides. It's pretty nice actually. It's not too bad. So I'll go ahead and put this thing back together, and then we'll go ahead and do a functions check with it. Functions check real quick. All right. Nothing. Safety's on. Nothing. Safety off. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to go through the functions check with snap caps. Okay, so magazine's loaded. Go ahead and cycle. Okay, fire. Good. Now with safeties, nothing. Nothing. Safety off. Fire. Perfect. Now fire reset. Perfect. And we've locked. Good to go. Okay, now the last part is asking us basically aftermarket parts that we plan on doing and stuff like that. I've already done a lot, so I'll just go through them all real quick. So I've done okay, so right here. So the CZ Industries barrel bushing, okay. I did a Fusion Firearms barrel and link match grade, and then a bunch of Wilson Combat stuff. So I did the Wilson Combat light match flat trigger. I did a bulletproof hammer, bulletproof sear and disconnector. Let's see. I did the Wilson Combat bulletproof grip safety, mainspring housing / magazine well combo, and then I did on the other side, I did the Wilson Combat extended magazine release. I got the grips from Wicked Grips. They are both, it's like a half and half laser and hand engraved grips. They feel wonderful. Yeah, a lot of work put into it already. A lot of it has already been shaped and fitted specifically to this firearm. And so some stuff that I want to do is I plan on I'm just going to strip the entire black nitride finish and do I'm going to do like a high polish and then actually blue it. And then on this we've got like our fixed front sight. I don't like that, so I'm going to probably try to get this slide milled because I don't have the equipment to do that. And I would like to do the Trijicon Novak fiber optic sights. All right, that's it.